Hi everyone, for today's book review we're going to be checking out The Last Days of HMS Warspite in Cornwall between 1947 and 1956, written by Richard Holm and published by the World Ship Society. And hopefully you can actually see it this time without reflections. This is a hardcover book that looks at what happened to the Warspite when it ran aground on its way to being scrapped. The Warspite had a long and brilliant career, covering 2 world wars, and had posterity been able to shine a light and had finances been available, then this battleship absolutely would have been worthy of preservation. But as it was in 1947, it was deemed that it had done a well enough job, and now it could continue to contribute by allowing its well-worn steel and armor to be recycled. As it was being towed to the scrapyard in Scotland, a storm arose, and on the 22nd of April 1947, the tow line broke, and the Warspite ran aground in an area called Prussia Cove. Most general accounts of the battleship tend to end there, or sometimes they'll just say that after it ran aground it was scrapped. However, this book goes into the details regarding that rather long and deadly salvage process. And it does so through clear text and through many photos, some of which can be displayed up here in the corner. A lot of the photos were originally black and white, and they have been artificially colorized. Most of the colorizations are very good, and again you're seeing these up here in the corner. And as the author said, they do bring the situation to life and make it seem and look more immediate. In general, the scrapping process proved to be difficult. The wreck had to be lightened and cut up and then hauled off the rocks at Prussia Cove, and the remainder of the hulk, it couldn't make it all the way up to Scotland, so it was simply beached near St. Michael's Mount, and there the wreck was slowly cut into 2 pieces and slowly broken down. There's a section in the book that details some of the fragments of the ship that are still around, so bits of furniture, wood, random bits of armor and steel. And for those who wish to dive, there are a few odds and ends under the water, both at Prussia Cove and also at St. Michael's Mount. And at St. Michael's Mount you can actually see 2 of the boilers of the Warspite and a bit of the keel, if you dive when the conditions are right. This book will appeal to anyone interested in battleships, and especially in British battleships and the Warspite, because it does put a full stop and completes the story of this battleship. Instead of just saying, oh, it ran aground, well, no, there was a whole process. A long salvage effort went underway. And it just enables you to learn more about how individuals with limited resources were able to break down this formidable battleship. So if all of that interests you, then by all means do get this book. It is not a complete history of the Warspite. You could do encyclopedias of the Warspite, such was its career. But Bert's books on the design history of British battleships are a key source for anyone who wants to learn more about the evolution of the Warspite and its class of sister ships. I would show you the book, but it's in storage, I'm sorry. But back to this one. If you like British battleships, if you like to understand how a battleship can be scrapped when it's stuck on the rocks, well, there's plenty of photos and accounts here to explain to you exactly how tough it was. A very interesting book and highly recommended. 4 out of 5 captain's hats from me.